The Emeralds traveled down to the Lone Star State to take on the Dallas Stars at American Airlines Center. Ben Bishop was in between the pipes for the Stars while he was opposed by Michael Neuwirth of the Seattle Emeralds. We'll start things off. First period, down behind the net, pass to Vatanen over to Tyler Myers. Clap bomb finds the top left corner, and the Emeralds strike first in this one. It is a 1-0 lead. We move things a little bit later as here come the Stars. They turn it over. Then the Seattle Emeralds get it back, but they turn it over. Ben finds Hemschke wide open for the one-timer, and he finds the back of the net, ties the game up. It is now a 1-1 game, but would not last. Here's Moeller over to Jimmy Hayes, back to Moeller. He takes the shot. He has a wide open net to shoot into, and they're back on top, 2-1. Emeralds in the lead. Later on in the first, Stars win the faceoff. Klingberg gets it poked away from him by Gaborik, who's going to go down the left wing. He has a man coming down the right wing, and it's Calle Jarnkrok puts it in on the pass from Gaborik. It's a 3-1 Emeralds lead. Jarnkrok's 15th goal of the season. Later on in the first, here comes Deneau. He's going to come back to the center, Bogosian. Back to Brodin, back to Bogosian. Over to Gaborik. Jarnkrok takes the shot. Deneau with a little bit of a trouble in front, but he eventually gets it, and with Bishop on his butt, he is able to put it in the net. Deneau makes it a 4-1 game for Seattle. We move on to the second period now. Connor Brown tries to dump it in. It eventually gets over to Letetsu, who finds Connor Brown back over on the left wing for the one-timer. Makes it a 5-1 Emeralds lead, his 6th goal of the season. Third period now, late third period. Vatanen across for Brown on another one-timer. His 2nd goal of the game, 7th of the season for Connor Brown. And we move on now. A little bit later in the third, off the face-off, Boucher gets tripped up on a breakaway, and he would have a penalty shot. Fakes the shot, does some forehand, backhand, and then eventually tries to go forehand. Puts it over the shoulder of Ben Bishop. Boucher nets it, and it's a 7-1 victory for the Seattle Emeralds in this one on the road over the Dallas Stars. Now Seattle heads back home at the Starbucks Center as they play host to the San Jose Sharks, as the Sharks had Martin Jones in between the pipes, and he would be opposed by Michael Neuwirth of the Emeralds. We'll start things off in the first period, late first period. Letetsu tries to get behind the net. The puck eventually gets to Boucher, who goes across for Connor Brown on the one-timer. He makes it a 1-0 Emeralds lead late first period, his 8th goal of the season. Now we skip the entire second period. In the third period, a Myers pass misses his man, but Jones decides to pass out for whatever reason, and Boucher is right there to pick it up. Puts a little subtle move on and gets it over the shoulder of Martin Jones. 2-0 Seattle now, very late third period, as the Sharks make it a 1-goal game. Marleau finds Couture there on the, or Donskoy, correction, on the pass, as it's a 2-1 Sharks lead. And then the Sharks turn it over there. It's Marleau who turns it over. Bogosian finds Boucher, who is able to backhand it from the blue line into the net on the empty netter. 3-1 Seattle is your final in this one, as Reed Boucher and the Seattle Emeralds come away with the victory, 3-1 over the San Jose Sharks. And with those two games completed, we are now through the month of February, as the Seattle Emeralds are ready to embark upon the month of March. The Emeralds are sitting at 29, 25, and 9 in the Central Division, which is good enough for 5th. They fell out of that 3rd place or 2nd place spot they were sitting in to be a playoff team somehow. So, I mean, you can't expect this team to be the best team in the Central Division, because they're an expansion team after all. So, the Emeralds drop down to 5th. As far as the points leaders on this team go, Mark Letetsu is number 1 with 46. Then you have Calle Jarnkrok with 45 right behind him. Sami Vatanen, the best defenseman on the team, with 42. And then Reed Boucher, the goal scorer of the bunch, he has 39 points, 25 of which are goals. So Reed Boucher is well on his way to being a 30-goal scorer for the first time in his NHL career. We do have a couple injuries as well. 2 of them are just like day-to-day stuff. They'll be back eventually in the month of March, so they're only out for going to be a couple games, if that. While Jay Beagle, though, he's been out for a while, and he's going to miss the rest of the season. He has an MCL sprain. He was pretty much our 3rd or 4th line center, depending on who was in and who was out. He is probably not going to be brought back for the next season, so Jay Beagle is pretty much played his last game for the Seattle Emeralds. Tyler Myers also has been traded. The Buffalo Sabres offered me a decent trade. I ended up editing and trying to get some more out of it, and I ended up getting some more out of it. That's horrible English from me right there. Tyler Myers, we traded him and a 5th-round pick to the Buffalo Sabres in return for Tyler Ennis, a left wing, and a 2nd and a 3rd-round pick in this year's draft, plus a future 3rd-round pick. So we got some picks and a decent winger for our team, and we had enough defensemen as it is, so Tyler Myers is shipped off back to Buffalo, where he was earlier in his career. And with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Seattle Emeralds expansion franchise. I've been your host, Jerseyborn, and I'm saying goodbye. Such amazing grace. Come on, sweep me away. Don't change, don't come around here. Wear my heart, don't sleep like a high school letter. Don't shrink, nothing ever comes from it. And the people you call me, well,